Welcome to the Sci-Fi Evolution channel. The interstellar governing body, composed of dozens of ancient and powerful species, did not worry about the humble position of the Earth. They lacked the technological sophistication and political clout to be truly significant. However, they listened, learned, and memorized. Humans were tolerated. Some species admired their tenacity, while others found them unstable and emotionally unstable. However, they were considered an evolving race rather than a threat until the fall of Arcadia Station. Located on the edge of human-colonized space, Arcadia was not just a research outpost, but also home to 200,000 settlers, scientists, engineers, families, and children. She represented Earth's dream of peaceful expansion among the stars. However, the Xel Empire, a cold-blooded reptilian race and one of the founders of the Council, conducted live-fire exercises in the disputed space, sending a fleet of 10 warships to Arcadia under the pretext of a navigation error. They reduced the station and its orbital habitation rings to ashes in less than 5 minutes. They claimed it was a mistake. The Council met within 48 hours. Apologies have been offered. Compensation has been offered. Ambassador Xel Empire'Tari, with fixed slits in his eyes, expressed regret for the loss of life due to the operational inconsistency. They thought it would be enough, but humanity has changed. Behind the veil of diplomacy, General Alexei Volkov, commander of the interstellar forces of Earth, stood before a closed military council deep below the surface of Mars. His face was stony, his voice low and restrained. 200,000 souls, he said, staring at the flickering holoscreen showing the destruction of Arcadia. And they call it a navigation glitch, he continued. They think we're going to grieve and move on. Admiral Zhang muttered as he sat next to him. They don't understand what home means to us. Volkov did not answer immediately. His hand hovered over the command interface of the table. Arcadia was not just a station. The colony was Earth. She was the home of our people, our dreams, and our flag flew proudly in the sky of another world. The general turned to the council, who thought we were just assimilating like all other minor species, petitioning and waiting for years for justice. President Nakamura asked. Her tone was not hostile, but cautious. "What do you suggest, General?" The general replied. "I'm not suggesting. I'm acting. We've been building in silence for decades. Our shadow fleets are ready, and our AI guidance systems are years ahead of what they think we have. We are not here to start a war." He touched the interface, and a projection of the Galactic Council hall appeared, its massive circular chamber filled with ambassadors of civilizations from across the galaxy. The air inside the chamber vibrated with tension on the day of the Council's emergency summit. Ambassadors from 55 different civilizations occupied multi-level seats. Their languages were translated in real time through neural interfaces, and the general delivered a message they will never forget. Silence. Many came to witness the pleading of the people. The Xel Empire'Tari stood complacently, armored and motionless. In the center of the room, the holographic field flickered and came to life. General Alexei Volkov appeared 15 meters tall. Every crease on his dark blue uniform was clear. Every ribbon and medal were earned, not donated. He did not bow or smile. His voice sounded like a thunderclap throughout the ward. "Dear delegates, I have come to ask for justice. I came to tell the truth. 2 days ago, Arcadia Station, an extension of our homeland, was destroyed, not by pirates or renegade factions, but by warships from the Xel Empire flying your flag." Sighs swept through the room. "We listened as you told us to be peaceful. We obeyed your orders. We sent our scientists, our children, our hopes, and you sent the fire." Ambassador Xel Empire'Tari opened his mouth to intervene, but Volkov spoke louder. "You attacked our house. You think that because Earth is new to the stars, we are weak. Because we are young, we are naive. But you're wrong. We are not what you expected. He paused, and the hologram disappeared. The council chamber exploded into chaos as representatives argued, denied, and expressed disbelief. However, some members looked pale. Those who have heard whispers about hidden human fleets, weapons that burn without heat, soldiers born in orbit and trained in an artificial environment. The message was clear. Humanity had suffered, but now it was ready to act. The General arrives, and the Galactic Council is more crowded than it has been in decades. Representatives from more than 50 different species fill a large amphitheater. The colossus of diplomacy suspended in orbit above the neutral moon Velura. The room is buzzing with whispers, nervous gestures, and shifting body language. Even the usually apathetic Volari, creatures of pure energy, throb with anxiety. The Xel Empire'Tari delegation sat in the center of the room, surrounded by black-armored honor guards. Their leader, Xel Empire'Tari, displayed the stoic demeanor typical of his kind. His jaw was clicking with boredom as he muttered, "People are overreacting." Above the delegates, the ceiling turned into a projection of the surrounding sky. Suddenly, a colossal ship appeared out of the spatial distortion. It was unlike anything the Council had ever encountered. An elegant black wedge of silent power, decorated with unknown weapon ports and glowing silver veins. Wrath of Terra. The synthetic voice echoed through the room. Incoming priority transmission from human command. Without fanfare, a tall blue hologram of General Alexei Volkov materialized above the central platform. His presence wasn't grandiose, but it was still imposing and intimidating in its intensity. His gaze swept across the room as if he could see through it. Volkov, the general, began, his voice steady and clear, his words deliberate. "I came to you not with diplomatic niceties, but with the truth." The room shifted uncomfortably, and Xel Empire'Tari grinned. "You claim that the destruction of Arcadia Station was a tragic mistake, a navigation error, a misunderstanding." The hologram flashed for a moment, showing satellite footage of Arcadia's final moments. Orbital scans, energy signatures, civilian calls for help, children's screams as the residential ring disintegrated in flames and vacuum. Then silence. Volkov's voice deepened. "We have logs, telemetry, guidance data. The attack was not an accident. Your fleet's weapons were locked, loaded, and fired with precision." He turned his gaze to Xel Empire'Tari. "You knew what you were doing." Ambassador Xel Empire'Tari stood up, his tongue flickering in the air. "General Volkov, you're taking too much on yourself. The Council's charter dictates that Volkov has completed this. No more advice, no more fruitless investigations." A low murmur spread, interrupting the speaker, which was a serious violation of Council protocol. But that didn't bother Volkov. "You attacked our house," he repeated. This time his words carried a different tone, not as a statement, but as a sentence. "You think the Earth is just one blue sphere, but you misunderstand what home means to us. Arcadia was not just a colony, it was a part of our soul. Our people do not divide themselves by star systems. We carry our Earth with us wherever we settle. You didn't just kill civilians, you crossed a line that hasn't been crossed in over a century." Volkov raised his hand, and holographic projections flashed behind him. Images of a human fleet, hundreds of ships emerging from the darkness of space surrounding the outposts and corridors of the Xel Empire'Tari Empire. Each ship carried the same emblem, a silver Earth surrounded by a sword and an olive tree. "We took control of 4 key positions in the undeveloped territories adjacent to Xel Empire'Tari territory without firing a single shot or losing a single life." The ambassador of the peace movement, who has always advocated nonviolence, expressed his disapproval. "This is an act of war," he said. General Volkov replied in a flat voice, stating that this was a warning. He stepped aside, and the last holographic image appeared behind him. It was counting down. 60 hours. "We demand the extradition of those responsible for the attack," he continued. military commanders, ship captains, and political officials who authorize the strike. You will send them to Earth to face justice. Xel grinned, but Volkov remained unwavering. Then you will understand the true nature of war when it is not limited by the rules of the Council. A heavy silence followed. For 3 decades, we have witnessed your decline, he said, trying to remain calm. However, you misinterpreted this as a sign of weakness. He paused, allowing the silence to deepen. You thought that humanity was just another species looking for a place at the table. Volkov's eyes shone with a dark, cold light. But we have built our position out of steel and fire, and we will bring it to the table whether you welcome us or not. The hologram flickered and disappeared. Silence enveloped the ward. Then came the panic. The council members argued, shouted, and attacked the Xel Empire'Tari. Valori called emergency meetings. Cases the Varants, who had long suspected humanity, demanded proof of the fleet's location. Several minor species have requested emergency neutrality status, completely distancing themselves from the Empire. But despite all this, Xel remained motionless, his claws clenched not from fear, but from disbelief. He had expected outrage, emotional pleas, perhaps even threats, but not this, not power, not precision, not a calculated ultimatum with a machine to execute it. He did not see a frightened child begging for justice. He saw the predator making its first move. The reckoning has begun. The Galactic Council remained in disarray. Emergency meetings were held without pauses, filled with feverish discussions, interspecific bickering and desperate pleas to stop the ticking clock. But one fact overwhelmed all others. Humanity was ready, at the outer edge of Xel Empire'Tari-controlled space. Dozens of human warships emerged from the darkness of space, their matte black hulls absorbing the light like shadows. The Wrath of Terra led a fleet surrounded by aircraft carriers, hidden cruisers, and sleek destroyers with names like Vigilant Flame, Iron Resolve, and Echo of Arcadia. These ships did not exist in the official galactic registers. No scan has ever detected their movements. No race has known the full extent of Earth's arsenal until now. From orbit, humans launched a coordinated electronic assault, shutting down communications, depleting planetary defense networks, and blocking space traffic across the 3 Xel Empire'Tari colonies. There were no shots fired, no deaths, no destruction, just silence. Xel Empire'Taris called it terrorism, but people saw it as a show of control. In the Wrath of Terra Command Center, General Volkov was carefully studying a large 3-dimensional tactical map of the region, with blue lights representing human ships and red lights representing the Council observers, the ships that followed them to monitor Earth's actions. Volkov calmly watched the map and remarked, "They're watching us," Rear Admiral Lin reported. 3 cruisers of Affairs Varants, 1 Valori scout ship, and a Council recorder drone are located at the edge of System 107. Volkov replied, "Let them watch. Let them write everything down. We have nothing to hide." Volkov turned to his subordinates and instructed, "Start the second phase. Disable orbital control of 4 Xel colonies Tari and deploy humanitarian drones. Once again, broadcast our demands." Panic spread across Planet 3 as the colony's governor, trapped in a bunker, shouted orders into the darkness while human drones silently hovered overhead, projecting holograms. By the end of the 3rd day, a secret meeting took place aboard the Wrath of Terra. Representatives from 5 different species sat opposite General Volkov in a secure diplomatic chamber. The ambassador from Kareri leaned forward. "We underestimated the Earth," he said. General Volkov did not answer. The amphibious envoy croaked, "You have captured 4 colonies without killing anyone. What is your ultimate goal?" Volkov stared at them all in silence for a moment, then spoke. 30 years ago, we asked for a seat at your table. You told us to be patient, to earn it. We did it, and we were repaid with the massacre of 200,000 civilians. He stood up and said, "We're not here to beg anymore. We're here to redo the table." There was a long pause, and then he continued, "We are not looking for war, but we will not tolerate the injustice hidden behind protocol. The perpetrators will face justice on Earth," he concluded. "If the Council cannot enforce its own laws, then humanity must step in." The Valori Watcher flickered dimly. "And if we help you in this venture, what will you offer in return?" Volkov's expression softened. "A new alliance built not on fear, but on mutual respect. One where power is not an excuse for atrocities." Agents of Earth, Aegis Division, were already working behind the scenes. Disguised in hidden armor, equipped with mind-suppressing technology and neural inhibitors, Aegis agents infiltrated the Council Tower itself. Their mission was not to kill. It consisted of collecting evidence, and what they found changed everything. A secret communication from the Xel Empire'Tari High Command, dated 2 days before the attack on Arcadia, described in detail the planned exercises and classified Arcadia as an expendable outpost belonging to a younger species. The file was merged. A few hours later, the entire galaxy saw him. After the news was published, disbelief quickly turned into outrage. Numerous species, especially those with colonies, called for retribution for the innocent lives that were taken. The Council was forced to take action. They issued a declaration condemning the attack and expressing support for the victims' families. In the vicinity of Xel Empire'Tari was called to account. A special tribunal was convened, which could not be postponed. Faced with pressure from former allies and fearing a complete diplomatic collapse, Xel Empire'Tari finally gave up. They suggested 3 military commanders, including Admiral Kazak, who led the attack on Arcadia, but not their political masterminds. Volkov rejected the partial concession. "You started it with fire," he said in a new broadcast. "We'll end it with the truth." Then came the 60-hour deadline, and the countdown reached 0. But instead of launching rockets, people did something worse. They broadcast everything. All the intercepted communications, all the footage, all the data transmitted through publicly available galactic channels, revealing corruption not only in Xel Empire'Tari, but also in the Council's inaction. Now every species knows that Earth is not seeking revenge. The Earth holds a mirror, and the galaxy doesn't like what it sees. A new galactic order has begun. The cosmos froze. After the final broadcast of the Earth, the systems and species fell into silence. No warships were moving. No commands were given. The stars, once fields of empire and conquest, now twinkled over a galaxy forced to face the truth. Images of the destruction of Arcadia Station, merged Xel transmissions the Tari, and the methodical response of the human fleet spread like wildfire. Worlds that had never heard of Earth spoke of it with awe or horror. And in the middle of it all, General Alexei Volkov was waiting, not behind closed doors, but in orbit above Thora, aboard the Wrath of Terra. His silhouette was visible from the surface, like a second moon, like a guardian.